First, I like to prime my skin with my favorite Dior primer, and this will prepare my face for my foundation. And then I have two different ways that I like to apply my foundation. So the first way that I'm going to show you is I'm going to stipple it onto my face with my Real Techniques complexion sponge, and this just will help absorb any excess product. And if I have more time, this is the method that I like to use. But if I'm in a hurry, I will apply foundation using my angled kabuki brush, and this just gets it on more quickly than if I use the complexion sponge. But I like the finish when I use the complexion sponge more. It just takes longer. And then next, I use my NYX Under Eye Brightener Dark Circle Eraser before I go in with my favorite concealer. This is the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Neutralizer, and I like to apply it in an upside down triangle around my nose, on my chin, and my forehead. And I usually always do a pretty intense under eye triangle. It's just my favorite way to apply concealer and brighten up my under eye area. And I like to blend it out using the complexion sponge. It just gives the most natural finish, and it helps pick up any excess product that I don't need and helps prevent creasing as well. Now I'm contouring with my Bobbi Brown foundation stick in the color Warm Almond, and I applied it to all my holy grail places that I like to contour. And then I have two favorite ways that I like to blend it out. So when I'm in more of a hurry, I use the same angled kabuki brush that I use to apply my foundation, and that will just blend it out much faster than if I use the orange complexion sponge. But I always like going in with the orange complexion sponge because it helps absorb any excess product so that it doesn't look too muddy, and it just helps it blend in more naturally with my skin and look more like I've been in the sun all day and just have a natural golden complexion. So next, I'm setting my under eye area with my two favorite setting powders. First, I like to go in with the Kogan Dough Translucent Setting Face Powder, and it's very hydrating. It fills in all my fine lines so that it doesn't look old or crepey or flaky. And then I like to go in with the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, and I apply that on top of my Kogan Dough powder. And this duo is amazing for you ladies. I find it amazing at brightening the under eye area, so it's amazing for any of you ladies that have small children, for instance, that are preventing you from getting the adequate sleep that you need. And then I just wipe it away with my Duo Fiber brush, and that just wipes away any excess powder. So next, on top of that, I like to go in with this beautiful ambient lighting palette by Hourglass, and I run it all over my face. It just helps blur my imperfections and just helps diminish the appearance of my pores and just helps my face look more hydrated and smooth. So next, I am going in with my favorite bronzer of all time. This is the Bobbi Brown Matte Bronzer, and I'm bronzing up my skin. And then I love to go in with my favorite bronzer topper. This is kind of like a highlighter as well, and this is the MAC Cheeky Bronze Mineralized Skin Finish, and I like to apply this on top of my bronzer just for even more warmth added onto my skin. And then I like to go in with the Becca Blushed Copper. I love to use this as a blush. I'm not the biggest blush fan, so I know this is a blush topper slash highlighter, but I like to use this as my blush on top of the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and I think it's in the same color family. I love the copper color to it, and it just adds beautiful warmth to my skin. So I like to make sure that everything is blended in together. So really take your time going over all the bronzers, highlighters, and blushes that you use. And I like to use the Duo Fiber Airbrush brush by Sigma, and it just makes sure that everything blends in more naturally together and that there's no harsh lines. And then I always spray my foundation and powders with a makeup setting spray, and I absorb any excess powder with this powder puff. It's just a good airbrush technique to absorb any excess powder. And now I'm filling in my brows using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer. Nothing special going on here. This is just my favorite way to fill in my brows and the quickest way. The brow definer is nice and thick and it gets the job done fast. So now I'm using my Nars eye primer. I find that this is very good for oily eyelids. And then I'm going in with this beautiful NYX eyeshadow palette. This is the color Riot. So first I'm taking the lightest color in the quad to set my eyeshadow primer so that it's not wet and that the colors will glide on more smoothly. And of course I'm using my Holy Grail eyeshadow shield to prevent any fallout falling onto my face. And then I'm buffing the third color in the quad, that bright orange color, into my crease. And I'm going in backward circular windshield wiper motions. And I'm wrapping it around my eye. And then I do a couple coats of this just to really get that bright orange color onto my eyelid. This is the base before I go in with any darker colors. And it's just going to really brighten and intensify any following colors and just help them stand out more. Orange is a really good trick to just make your eye color pop and your eyeshadow colors pop. So now I'm taking a more dense, compact eyeshadow brush, and I'm taking the second color in that quad, and I'm just using the straight edge of my MAC lip gloss. You can use a credit card, tape, or whatever to do this, but I wanted it really precise and really sharp and defined, so that's why I'm using the straight edge to help me create that. And I'm applying this in the outer V of my outer eyelid, so I create that horizontal V shape, and I just go backwards and forwards, blending it out. And then I take the last color in the quad, the red color, and I apply this closer to the center part of my eyelid, so in front of that previous color that I created the outer V shape with. I'm also creating another horizontal V, but this is just in front of the orange color that I previously did. I wanted this to kind of have an ombre effect, so it should be like a little chevron, you know, two little arrows, but of course you blend it together so that it looks more natural and so that the colors naturally fade into each other and blend into each other. Then I just take a fluffy blending brush just to go over all those colors and make sure they're all blended in together and that there's no harsh lines. Now I'm taking Isolde by Nars, and I'm taking the same dense eyeshadow brush that I previously used, and I'm taking that coppery bronze color and applying it on top of the red NYX eyeshadow color that I used. And I'm creating that horizontal V shape, again, same thing that I previously did, and I'm buffing it out, going in small circular and outward circular motions. And I make sure to smudge anything that's left over onto the brush under my eyes and under my bottom lash line. And that's just going to give it a more smoky undone look under my eyes and help even out all that's on top of my eyelid. And then I'm taking that same fluffy blending brush and just going over everything just to make sure that everything is more naturally blended in together, and it just kind of softens that sharp, intense line that I did when I was first applying my eyeshadow. So now I'm going to take a more flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm taking that beautiful gold color in that Nars palette, and I'm patting it onto the center of my eyelid and bringing it to the inner part of my eye. And then I also swipe whatever's left onto my brush onto my lower lash line just for a more sultry golden makeup look. And then again, I take that same fluffy blending eyeshadow brush and I go over all the colors, going backwards, forwards, and circular and outer circular motions, just to make sure that everything is blended well together. I cannot stress this enough. This is the most important part of doing any makeup look. Now I'm taking a felt tip liquid eyeliner pen to draw the dot where I want my eyeliner to end, and then I bring it back to the end point of my eyelid. And I keep going over that line just to darken it up, and I realized that my felt pen was just not pigmented enough, so I got my favorite MAC liquid liner, and it's just very liquidy and black, and it's matte, which I like. I like when it's really intense and shows up. So I'm just thickening that line, and I'm just drawing this in short little strokes and connecting all the strokes just to get a more precise and even line. So it's good to just slowly take your time and build up the line and build up the thickness of the line, and that way it will look more straight and even throughout your whole line. So now I'm doing the same thing on the other eye, and I just really try to take my time with this just to make sure that the lines are even, because it's very hard to make sure that your lines are even. But I really like this new technique where you draw the dot first of where you want your eyeliner to end, and then you bring it back to your eye, where you continue drawing short strokes, bringing the line to the beginning of your eye, and then connecting all those strokes. And it just really helps make sure that you have the perfect eyeliner. So now I'm applying my favorite false eyelashes, the ones by Ardell, the Demi Wispies. They are my favorite eyelashes of all time, and I'm also using my favorite brown eyeliner and using my favorite sharpener to sharpen it up. Got that cheap one from CVS, by the way. And I always like to apply a brown eyeliner. I just think it softens the look, and I feel like I don't look complete without eyeliner on my bottom lower lash line, but that's just a personal preference. And then I'm smudging it out with a smudge brush. And then to complete your eye look, it's good to apply a coat of mascara. This will just help blend your natural eyelashes in with the false lashes, because you don't want it to look obvious that you have false lashes on. So just by applying a coat of mascara. It will help blend them in, and then I apply it to my lower lashes, of course. Now I'm taking my favorite lip balm. This one is by Beauty Counter, and it is mint flavored, and it is oh so tingly and hydrating on the lips. It feels amazing. And then I'm taking my all-time favorite lip color. This one's by Beauty Counter in the shade Plum. These are natural and they're very hydrating on the lips. So that completes my makeup tutorial. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye!